Well, welcome everyone to the January 2nd, 2018 Owensboro Board of Commissioners regular meeting. At this time, we'll have the roll call by City Clerk Beth Cecil.
Commissioner Jay Vallata.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Conder.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bob Glenn.
Here.
And Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright is unavailable.
Okay, item number 3 is the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Please stand. Commissioner Vallata.
Please bow your heads or focus in silent meditation if that's your choosing. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and this new year. May we come to you and prosper as we look forward to an exciting and many eventful year. Please look over those who are currently ill, as we have a lot of illness in the community. Protect those that are homeless and hungry. If they have shelter and are fed, they may be at peace. Look over this commission, this city, as we look to guide you through this new year. We ask this in your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you, sir. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Vallata. Item number 4A is consider the approval of the minutes from dated December 12, 2017 and December 19, 2017. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item number 4B is to consider board appointments. I'll go through all of them and we'll improve them all at one time, please. I'd like to reappoint Bart Darrell to a 4-year term expiring January 8th to the Davis County Regional Airport Board. I'd like to reappoint Donnie Bray to a 3-year term expiring January 8th, 2021 to the City Employees Pension Board. Appoint Rosemary Conder to a 2-year term expiring January the 4th, 2020 to the Owensboro Davis County Drug and Alcohol Steering Committee. Reappoint Ted Lawley and Dr. Tom Maddox to a 3-year term expiring January 7, 2021 to the City Utility Commission. And reappoint Aaron Anderson to a 3-year term expiring January the 4th, 2021 to the Property Maintenance Code Enforcement Board. Okay, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. Item number 5, ordinance, Mr. Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 35-2017 is an ordinance repealing in its entirety Section 2-155 of the Owensboro Municipal Code, requiring an annual meeting of the Board of Commissioners, City Manager, City Finance Officer, and City Attorney for contract review. Publicly read for approval on second reading January 2nd, 2018.
Thank you, sir. I make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Commissioner Conder.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Question, please. With
To
the
whom?
to possibly the City Manager, Bill Parrish,
Okay.
to actually be able to look at any of the contracts that the city enters into, will there be a mechanism that the commission itself will be able to look at any of these contracts, and if so, how?
The easiest management tool is to say, quite simply, City Manager, get me that contract, and I'll get it. Or to tell me, get me contracts in an area like construction or having to do with the convention center. But I think Beth Cecil, as city clerk, can help you through our Laserfish system and be able to source anything you need.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Ray, counsel.
If I could add one thing to that too, is that's for all contracts in existence prior to you coming into office in this commission. All contracts since you've come in, you vote on. So with the exception of purchase orders, and the purchase orders, those are delegated to the city manager. So any of the new ones you'll see, because they'll come before you here at a city commission meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Glenn.
So this is probably, I'll ask Bill, and if you want to defer to Ed, that's fine. So the public, if the public wants to see these contracts, are they barred from doing so, or does this come into the
No,
Public
an
Records Act?
open records request, they could, everything except for competitive negotiations essentially are open, the public can see anything. But city attorney is correct. Most of those are either in the form of the budget each year, as we bring the budget up, or they have been done, as Ed explained. But the ones that wouldn't be there that you would need to see is we sign contracts for the party room at the Edge. If the commissioner, the public wanted to see the birthday party room contract for an individual, we could get to that.
Okay, though the key is then the public would still have access, and in terms of concerns citizens would have about transparency, the Open Records Act allows them to see
Correct.
that.
There were
Okay.
275 contracts in 2017, and the vast majority of those are things like at the Edge to contract to rent the birthday party room. The rest of them, the big ones that Ed talked about, are in the budget, or you vote on them as amendments later in the year.
Okay, so the follow-up, and this may be an Ed question or a city attorney question, is are there any contracts at all for which this commission would never see them at all? I know the Edge, I don't want to see
No,
the Edge contracts.
the city attorney and I, the city attorney would bar me from signing any contracts. All contracts that are large contracts like that are things that are authorized by the budget, or you'll recall municipal orders that say the commission's will is they desire something happen. The mayor signs the contract in the name of the commission.
Thank you, and thank you both.
So did we go with that last time we had a meeting, most of this?
We discussed some at Mayor. I don't
Okay.
think we went into
I was trying to
much detail.
recall myself, okay. All right, any other discussion? Okay, City Clerk Beth Cecil, I believe we have a roll call.
Commissioner Villada,
Aye.
Commissioner Conder,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn.
Yes.
Okay, item number 5B, Mr. Ray.
Ordinance 36-2017 is an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018. And amending Ordinance 9-2017 to receive Homeland Security Grant awards and provide for respective expenditures to provide for BAN, which are bond anticipation notes, $2 million redemption. This publicly read for approval on second reading, January 2nd, 2018.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Could I have a second, please?
Second?
All right, any discussion? On the okay. Ms. Cecil, we'll have another roll call.
Mayor,
Commissioner,
may I ask Ed to clarify one item?
Sure.
Okay.
Commissioner Glenn,
So just since we have a fairly large audience here, the ban, explain the redemption just for the purposes of the public. I know it's a good thing, but.
Mayor,
but-
could I
or
ask
whoever.
that
Yeah, Bill, that's fine.
Finance
let's,
Director?
Yes,
let's,
and, Ms. Hamrick, yes. Go ahead.
okay,
Sorry
let's
about
get back in normal order. Ms. Hamrick.
Yes, Mayor. What this entails is the commission voted to issue bonds, and it's called a bond anticipation note. And what that does, it's a lower interest rate, and a city will do that when they don't know exactly precisely how much they need to borrow. Once we decide how much we need to borrow, the ban will be transferred into bonds, so we'll issue bonds. Now, what we did, there was $2 million that was decided that we did not need to use. So what the commission voted to do was to take $2 million and redeem that back to the bondholders, so that's saving the interest expense on monies that we would otherwise be paying interest on. There's two opportunities to do that. The first one was December 1 of 2017. The second one is December of 2019, or unless we decide to redeem the whole rest of the bond anticipation note and issue bonds in place of that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
In lieu of being general obligation bonds, which is kind of like on the back of the taxpayer, right?
That's correct. General obligation bonds are issued on the full faith and credit of the city.
That's a better way of saying it.
Yeah, yeah. So, so the bond anticipation note, like I said, has a lower interest rate, and so we've just got the savings, if you will, of a lower interest rate until we know exactly for sure how much we need to issue in general obligation bonds.
Do you remember how much money we saved on sending that $2 million back?
On the interest?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was in the neighborhood of 30-some-odd thousand that we saved.
Good.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion?
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay, roll call, Ms. Cecil?
Commissioner Condor,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Villada.
Yes. Motion approved. Okay. Item number 6, city manager items. Mr. Parrish.
I have nothing except personal appointments tonight, Mayor. I recommend the commission consider for appointment Troy Couch, probationary, intermittent, non-civil service appointment, reserve police officer with the police department, effective January the 8th. Eric All, probationary, full-time, non-civil service appointment, police officer, effective January 22nd. Logan Burnett, Corey Moore, and Travis White, as well as Jeffrey Evans as police officers. Also, Matthew Waits, non-civil service appointment, police officer, effective January 19th.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. You have no comments tonight, city manager?
Nothing further, Mayor. Thank you.
Sir. Communication from elected officials. Commissioner Glenn?
I would just say that we have a new year, and of course, with it comes incredibly cold temperatures. So please take the precautions for yourself and your family and your pets so that we don't have a tragedy. That would be it.
Commissioner Villada? It's cold.
It certainly is. Just Happy New Year to everyone, and just glad to be here, Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Condor?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick thank you to Andy Ball at the emergency management team and everyone else at the shelters to be able to handle everyone that's coming in and how many there are with the white flags that has been thrown out to the community. I believe that both the city and the county gave some additional monies for to help the St. Benedict's recently, and it's being used. So thank you to them. They're doing great work out there. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay. Item number 8, open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of public concern that was not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of this commission. The City Commission meetings are held to conduct city business for the benefit of the Owensboro citizens and the taxpayers. During open public forum, any citizen of Owensboro may address the specific city-related issue not on the agenda. At this time, anyone who wishes to address the commission, please make their way to the podium to be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the clerk's record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from the city staff or the commission, and the mayor reserves the right to extend time to the speaker. Who's up? Ladies first.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Daniel Tosh, and my purpose for being here is...
Your address, sir?
Excuse me?
Your address, please?
1700 Lee Court.
Thank you.
My purpose for being here, I'm a member of the group that's been fighting for their right to safe access to medical cannabis, and we're trying to get every major city in the state to pass a resolution to send to Frankfurt to join with Secretary Grimes to get something done in this session. We've been fighting and fighting with no success, and I would ask each and every member here to, there's a sign downstairs and says Owensboro is a Purple Heart City. We lose a Kentucky veteran every 3 days, takes his own life. That's a fact. 22 veterans take their life every day. And we're begging for safe access to a non-toxic plant. We don't want poison pharmaceutical drugs. And I would appreciate each and every member here sign a resolution and support Allison Grimes to support our citizens. Children are suffering and dying. Senior citizens are suffering and dying. And I've got a cold shoulder. I've asked every person here in Western Kentucky to support my cause, and no one will. This is election year. If you can't support the people, the majority of the people want this to happen. And if you can't support it, then we're going to do something at the ballot box. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Megan Hagan. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I am also here with Daniel Tosh. We've been working with
And
Kentucky.
your address? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Sorry, 2610 West 6th Street, Owensboro, Kentucky.
Thank you.
We've been working with Owensboro Kentuckians for medicinal marijuana for the last 4 years. For the last 4 years, we keep running into the same problem where we're not getting much help. And with our Secretary of State, Allison, coming out in support of medicinal marijuana, I think it would be a good sign if Owensboro came forward and said that we support people that are in need of it for medical reasons. I do have health issues myself. I don't smoke. I have, it actually makes me pretty lazy, to be quite honest. But I have a lot of friends that are in the cancer community that it helps. And I just feel like we are, it's to the point where I'd say 98% of people in this room know someone that smokes. And I just feel like it would really benefit people that are sick, and not only that, people that it would help the revenue from it would help our economy too. Let's be honest, let's look at what it's done for Colorado. I mean, they no longer have to put money towards their schools. Their schools are now paid for. They no longer, and the money that was going towards the schools now goes towards homeless shelters. So I'm running for city council next year, and I want you all to know I respect you all, but that is going to be one of my number one things that I try and pass if I do get elected. And you all need to know, most of Davis County wants this to happen. Most phones wants this to happen. So we really would appreciate your support. Thank you. You have a good night.
Thank you.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Amanda Rusher, and it's 717 Wing Avenue, Owensboro. I'm also here to ask that you write a resolution to Frankfurt to legalize medical marijuana. I come from a pharmacy background. All of our medications are filled with chemicals. Cannabis is actually
Can
something
you get a little
that
closer to the mic, please?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Cannabis is actually something that is natural. Nothing is added to it. There are no side effects. A lot of our medications that we are giving, especially cancer patients that are given medications to fight nausea and vomiting, they're given Marinol, which is a synthetic form of marijuana. But one of the side effects of Marinol is vomiting. The other side effect is nausea. So they're taking medication for something that they're having the same side effect for. Medical marijuana has gone back as far as the 1850s. It was noted as one of the main medications. And I feel that most of our medications that we're given is just one big loop. You take a medication for high blood pressure. Well, then you have to take a medication because you're retaining water. So you got to take, let's say, furosemide, Lasix. Well, you're losing water, so you're losing potassium. So now you have to take a potassium pill, and then you lose iron. It's one big cycle. And not only that, we're given pain medication, and the opioid epidemic is horrible. It's crazy. It's something that can be avoided with something natural. So I just ask you that you keep an open mind, and please help us support this.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Steve Reynolds. I live at 4163 McIntyre Crossing. I'm here simply to support the people that's come up here and asked for medical marijuana. I'm in support of it. I feel like my in-laws are all farmers. I feel like that it would be a good deal for the state of Kentucky to legalize it and start growing it. I mean, I think it's taxable, and I just want to show my support for it. And I mean, Washington and Colorado legalized it before it was even legal in the United States. So I feel like Davis County can legalize it before it's legal in Kentucky. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rebecca Wanhandle. I live at 1253 Helga Court. I'm here for the same reason. I have a 2-year-old little girl. She was diagnosed with epilepsy and cerebral palsy at 5 months old. After the doctors gave up on her after a year, she was dying. We were forced to move to Colorado and treat her with cannabis, and it saved her life. She's thriving. She is so healthy. She has been seizure-free for 7 months now. Due to an accident from a motorcycle accident my husband had, we were forced back to Kentucky, and her seizures are coming back without the medicine. So, you know, a lot of adults can speak for themselves, but my daughter, who needs the medicine, can't speak for herself. She doesn't know any better, so I'm just here to advocate for her. I'm sure she would want her life saved, and cannabis is what saved her life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Nathan Laws, and my address is 7155 Old Masonville Road, Utica, Kentucky. Apologize, I'm a little nervous.
Well, you're a county residency in the city. That's why you're nervous.
Well, I mean, I've lived in Owensboro pretty much all my life. It's just like a mile and a half outside of Owensboro. So, a couple things I just want to go over on the medical marijuana is the opioid problems. And it's a pretty much a proven thing that's going around, especially where it's legalized. Instead of people look at it as a gateway drug, you can also look at it as an exit drug, because there's plenty of states, and like I said, where it's legalized, they're getting the rights to help people that are alcoholics and abuse prescription drugs like Xanax, which is horrible, which I had a problem myself with. And thank God that I found marijuana, because that's the only thing that saved my life from Xanaxes. And I've been fighting depression all my life. Finally got therapy this year and stuff like that. And there are some things I do need pharmaceutical medicines, because it has helped me a little bit. But there are greatly benefits from medical marijuana as far as getting off of other things that you're addicted to. And the other things is like that lady that was in front of me that spoke about the epilepsy. Look at that and see how many people are transferring to states that is legal just to help their kids stop having epilepsy seizures. That's a fact. I mean, we look at it. I mean, I'm looking at the drugabuse.gov app right now, getting my stuff, but I don't just look at one thing. I like to at least look at 10 different sites or whatever. I've done plenty of research in it, and fighting just the good and the bad. I found maybe a couple things that wasn't great medical or for marijuana, and that is maybe some memory loss or and stuff like that. But you got to outweigh the good with the bad. And well, I'll just speak some more. I'm not even going to look at it on that. The medical marijuana, as far as I mean, just pretty much anything. I don't understand. It's mind-boggling to me that it's even that we're even having this discussion, because I looked into it, and honestly, how did it even get illegal in the first place? And all the research I've done is corruption and money. Everything boils down to money, and that's really bad. And honestly, I live my life trying to be the best person I can be every day, and to make the right choices and stuff. And so I did my own research into this, and it didn't make sense. So really, the only reason it went illegal that I found was in 1930s. William H. Hearst, he owned a logging company and stuff, and paper mill, I believe, and he was going to lose out big money. And so he wanted to get, and this wasn't even marijuana. I just looked into hemp, and this is hemp. And then it stemmed off of trying to say that he was going to try to say that the hemp, as far as the hemp and marijuana, was the same, and that it was dangerous. And then that's when they came out with this publicity stunt, Reefer Madness movies, and just got the public to a bad perception on it, and no one ever did their own research on it. And hemp is the greatest plant known to man, and I'm so grateful.
Okay, you've gone past your 3 minutes.
Okay.
I appreciate
All right.
your
Thank you, sir.
enthusiasm.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm
Hello.
Kaylin Alvey, 2526 Cravens Avenue, Owensboro, Kentucky, 42301. I'm a clinical therapist, a psychotherapist here in town. I'm pursuing my doctoral studies and also bringing to the attention the efficacy that medical marijuana has had and the heavy implications that it's had from a psychotherapeutic standpoint, as well as chronic pain. I won't take up a lot of your time, but a lot of my research is heavy in this area. And just to give you an example of kind of what we know from a research-based perspective, right? Because, as far as rigor goes, that's what we're looking at. Dr. Kevin Hill from Harvard University published a journal article in the Journal of the American Medical Association, June 23rd, 2015. It's volume 313, issue 24. He did a empirical literature review and found 28 randomized controlled clinical trials, which I'm sure you are aware is the most rigorous of quantitative analyses. So in these 28 randomized controlled clinical trials, the findings were that use of marijuana for chronic pain, neuropathic pain, and spasticity due to multiple sclerosis is supported by high-quality evidence. 6 trials that included 325 patients examined chronic pain, 6 trials that included 396 patients investigated neuropathic pain, and 12 trials that included 1,600 patients focused on multiple sclerosis. Every single one of these issues that were tested had positive effects of use of medical marijuana. Medical marijuana is used to treat a host of indications, and few of which have evidence to support treatment with marijuana that is not effective. Pardon me. So I'm here to tell you that medical marijuana, from a research-based and empirical-based standpoint, does have heavy implications and should be considered in future treatment of chronic pain as well as for psychotherapeutic purposes.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you think it's so difficult to get this done then, if you have all this information, all this empirical data, and all these success stories? Why do you think it's so difficult for this to get
Well, in Kentucky, right, it's the population that we're working with. So we have a heavy population here of people that are coming from a background of religious purposes, of Christianity, which is great, and that's not a negative thing. But based on what we know from a research-based perspective, empirical evidence, the literature that is out there, people in this area don't want to listen to it. They just shut it out. So that's what I'm here to present to you, is just the empirical implications and the research that we have on this issue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I can assume that the rest of you are all going to say the same thing.
No.
I'd like to add one more thing.
Okay, we'll give you 2 or 3 more because we're all talking about the same basic issue. We'll let y'all can choose who the 2 or 3 are. No, not yet. Wait, hang on a minute. It's not your turn yet. Go ahead, sir.
My name's Ben Manley. I'm familiar with some of you on here. In 2000, I was diagnosed with a condition called Meniere's disease. The only way they could treat that is with Valium and Xanax, things of that nature. So I continued to take those pills. After a certain amount of time, though, I'm only human. If anybody has any examples of Valium or Klonopin or things of that nature, you grow addicted to it. You have to take more to get the same effect going to help the Meniere's disease get under control. It's a vestibular suppressant is what they call Valium or Klonopin. And the Meniere's disease causes vertigo, severe dizziness, and imbalance. So I was falling all over the place, for the longest time. So I treated at the House Ear Institute in Los Angeles, California. They treated past astronauts, Alan Shepard, who had Meniere's disease. They treated past presidents. So I went to the best. And they recommended medical marijuana. For 10 years, I didn't do it because it was illegal here in Kentucky. After falling down enough times, about 6 years, 7 years later, I finally decided to go to the medical marijuana. I haven't had any issues with it since. Occasional imbalance, but nothing like it was. The biggest thing of it was, though, I was able to get off the Valium, I was able to get off the Klonopin, I was able to get off all those hard pills that would tear you down. Recently, that might hit more to the point here, is the Fifth Circuit Court here in Davis County. The judge agreed with me and allowed me to see my kids instead of taking them away, because it was at one point they were going to try to take my children away because of my marijuana use. The Fifth Circuit Court judge said, no, these pills do the same damage or they can cause more damage. We're going to let Mr. Nunley, use his medical marijuana. After that, that case was appealed. Then it went to the family court judge here in Davis County. That judge agreed with me as well. I am now able to smoke medical marijuana and not worry about losing my children. Thank you. It was kind of a big step. That case was appealed, right? Because the background, the thinking here in this area, you're asking about why it's so hard. I just think it's just what was buried into the Nancy Reagan era of thinking of this is your brain on drugs. It's just re-education is what it is, because back then they were just thinking it's a harmful thing, let's get rid of it. But that's not the case. To get back to my story, it got appealed again and went to the State of Appeals here in Kentucky. They agree with me as well. So the courts are already ahead of a lot of people in this particular situation. So I'm very thankful for that. It could go to the Supreme Court, but I don't think so, because I feel pretty confident that at that point, after going through the family court, the district court, and the appeals court, and all those judges agreeing with me that this is a better method of my treatment, the Supreme Court will agree with me as well.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We got a couple more. We got time for a couple more. Please.
My name is Kelly Schroeder. I live at 107 East 23rd. And the only thing that I'm bringing to you today are statistics. Every day, 1,000 people in the United States, at a minimum, are admitted to an emergency room due to opioid addiction. Between 1999 and 2015, 183,000 people died from an opioid overdose. In 2015, more than 15,000 people died from prescription drugs alone. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency has 0 documented deaths from medical marijuana. The following: Oxycontin, fentanyl, methadone, and Dilaudid are being dispersed and thrown out like confetti. Our town is not exempt from this, and our children are going to be dead. I have teenage boys, and I worry for them. At this point, we have hemp legal. At this point, it is helping more people than pharmaceutical medicine ever has, and I implore of you to fight legislation with us to bring this to our town. Make Davis County a model city. Make it be like Colorado, where they have repaired all of their crumbling infrastructure, where they have given bonuses to all of their teachers as an incentive to teach classes, where they have given their citizens tax breaks and tax refunds, where they are repairing roads using hemp and a plastic product, where they are linking them together. They will never have to repave their roads again. They will never have to repaint the lines again. And if an animal steps on it, it will light up. Why are we not using this technology? Why are we wasting millions of dollars on things that never have to be done again? They make hempcrete that is stronger than concrete, that will withstand any type of weather. I want Owensboro to be this progressive. I want to be proud of the town I'm going into. I have just moved back after 30 years, and I want to see us thrive. I do not want to see us as a welfare state anymore. It's not necessary. And I don't have any more to say.
Thank you very much. Okay, who's going to put who wants to put a cap on it? Okay, come on up. Pardon me? We could be here all night. You know, Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay. Are you done? Okay. My name is Joseph Richards. I live at 900 East Glen Court, Owensboro, Kentucky. I started doing this back when I was 6 years old, back in 1976. I smoked my first marijuana cigarette at 6 years old. So I know exactly that it don't kill you. It's safer than crayons. And and the sad thing is why nobody's researched this stuff. We've waited this long, and then now we're at the forefront where everybody's hurt. Not just one, but everybody's hurt. We don't have Mr. Tosh up here holding the sign for us all the time. You know? There's good people here. And I believe that we all can work together as people, through governments, whatever, but as people. People have heart just like everybody else. So I'm wanting to see if y'all can do the resolution for us here in Owensboro. That's what I'm asking for. That's what we're all asking for. So if you all could do that, I think this town would be a lot better off.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else have a new topic that we can talk about tonight? You have a new topic? I mean, it's quite obvious that y'all are all in the same boat, and I understand that, and I'm proud that you're here. So any other comments from the public at this time? Okay, hearing none, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.